Hi everyone, welcome to our Biryani football podcast, where we'll be reviewing week 12, and we picked few games that were interested and intriguing, and we'll go deep into some of those games and give our insights along with the stats and what we saw from our perspective that was interesting, and obviously we'll try to mix in some of the insights that we have seen across the league as well and some what is bubbling up as we get towards or actually race towards the playoffs. It's shaping up very well, and I'll actually go ahead and start. Viraj, do you want to say anything before I jump in?
Yeah, it was a really fun week of football. Great two overtime games that were really entertaining to watch. And both, comebacks by over 10 points, so we did not see coming. And it's a really fun week, and it's showing that teams, especially ones that are desperate, are really doing whatever they can to stay alive in this
Yeah,
playoff race.
absolutely. I mean, there were some teams that were on the edge, like Chiefs, for example, right? They came back. They came back. Bills, on the other hand, we'll actually go back as well. Cowboys, for example, they were pretty much teetering on the edge of the end of the season, but somehow they snuck back in. So let's actually jump right back into the game where Eagles and Cowboys played in Dallas, and Cowboys game. Eagles were like 21-0 lead, and I was actually watching the game until then, and I'm like, there is no way, in Jerry James Stadium, like this is going to happen. Like the Eagles are going to just come and blow off the Cowboys, and lo and behold, Cowboys played a really good game, and they came back, and Dak Prescott, threw 354 yards and two touchdowns and 24 unanswered points. That's amazing. One thing to note though is whenever I see AJ Brown has a great game, Eagles lose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
I,
say.
I almost feel like they're trying to force feed him, and somehow they're putting him above the game. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they are trying to do. I'm sure they're trying to make the star receiver happy, but at what cost though, right?
Yeah.
George Pickens, 9 catches, 146 yards for one touchdown. One really cool stat. I don't know how cool it is if you're a Steelers fan, but George Pickens has as number of receptions as the total wide receivers team in Steelers. I mean, that's crazy. George Pickens. I mean, obviously he's making big plays
And
for the Cowboys.
Dallas got him for pretty much nothing. I think they don't have to give away like a fifth round pick, which is insane for a talent like George Pickens.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eagle led 21-0. I mean, and they were completely shut off in second half. I mean, I don't know how to explain it except for the penalties. They had 14 penalties for 96 yards, and you can't win games if you have almost 100 yards of penalty, 100 yards because of penalties. So I mean, that was a bad loss for Eagles. I mean, people have been actually talking about this for a while now. Other than like Saquon Barkley, who's consistently playing very well, and if they stop him and if they somehow contain Jalen Hurts, what are they going to do if they're going to become? I mean, is that the way you actually make Eagles one dimensional, or is that the recipe for beating the Eagles? I mean, so far they have been invincible since their Super Bowl win. I mean, except for like a couple of games they lost, but. Is this how they beat? What do you think, Viraj? Is this how you can beat Eagles?
Yeah, I would just say, I think the Eagles, you're definitely right about AJ Brown. I think they were trying to force feed him. It was definitely a winnable game. There's so many points where they were in the red zone. They should have been able to come away with like 3 points, but they just didn't. They just turned the ball over. And so it was not a clean game for the Eagles. There's just too many penalties that ended up too many punts and things like that. It's not good football from the Eagles in that second half, but overall, I think that, that doesn't make them any of a worse of a team in my opinion. I think they're still like top three teams in the NFL
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
right.
Maybe even the
Absolutely.
best team. So this game doesn't define them, but it definitely shows them that they have a lot to improve on coming in, and their defense shouldn't be able to give away that many points. I know that they're on the field for most of the second half, but still they shouldn't be giving away that many points because it actually wears down the offense too when the offense is losing momentum and losing, kind of hope in themselves as their Dallas just slowly climbs back and gets that 24-point
Yeah.
straight.
But what a confidence booster for the Cowboys,
Yep.
though. I mean, they were, like I said, they were the edge of like just jumping off of this season into next year. But somehow they saved their season, if you will. Again, it's a crowded field for anybody who wants to snuck in by the wild card in NFC. There are like some really good teams that are like looking from the outside into the playoff race. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe this is the. I mean, one thing I would also say, like the additions via free agency, Quinton Williams and Logan Smith. I mean, oh my God, Logan Wilson, right?
Yeah.
What Quinton Williams is a monster, man. I mean, that guy is really good. I mean, he can wreck you like no other. And like looks like that particular free agency move is paying off for.
When it first happened, I was like, wow, first round pick for Quentin Williams. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't know if he was worth like a first round pick. But especially one from the Jets, too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially giving the Cowboys, who have like a pretty high first rounder so far at that point in the season, and they're giving it away for Quentin Williams. I was definitely like questioning that move, but looking back, it was a really great move by Dallas, too. Especially because they have one of the worst D lines in the league, and now they have not the best, but an average, which is what you should. At least you shouldn't have an average.
Yeah, I mean, looks like he's a good scheme fit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it is. I mean, he's really gelling with the front line on the D line,
And
on the defensive side, and looks like they're pretty good.
And I was just gonna say, a lot of people have been like hating on Brian Schottenheimer, saying like, "Oh, he's not gonna be good. He's just a mediocre coach. He just like does whatever Jerry Jones wants him to." And I don't know about that. He's really been able to bring this team, which everyone pretty much gave up on, and they're not. They're obviously not like Super Bowl contenders or something, but they're a force to be reckoned with right now. Their offense is firing off on all cylinders, so it's a really interesting team to watch.
Yeah.
And good job from Brian Schottenheimer in his
Yeah,
first year.
I mean, he has been actually. I've never been a big fan of Brian Schottenheimer, but I do believe like he's a very good offensive mind. He played for some really good teams, back in the day as an OC. And I think he might do well with Cowboys. Again, like it's just one game, but I mean, beating Eagles is no joke. Obviously, they are divisional rivals. They know really each other very well. But again, like Eagles had big time momentum running towards the race and running away with the division. They might still win the division all said and done, unless something drastic happens, like a big time fall off, which I don't think happens with Eagles because they're a very well built, well rounded team. I mean, obviously, it still goes through Jalen Hurts, but like so I don't see any other team like rising up to beat the Eagles for the division. But Cowboys, definitely showed a formula to beat the Eagles. The next game I want to go to review is the Lions and Giants. It was a great game. The biggest fun part for me watching that game was Jameis Winston's receiving touchdown. He was really good. I mean, their punter, I think the gunner actually, threw the ball to him and he actually tackled. I mean, not really tackled, but at least avoided tackling and weaved his way through the touchdown.
He had a really good stiff arm too.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun. And I actually saw this tweet by someone where they said, the league should just scrap the rules when Jameis Winston should not sign up with one team, but he should be like available for any team that needs a backup for a day. I mean, he's so much fun to watch. And he put like 517 yards of offense and, made Lions sweat, literally sweat. And I think that was a great game. Obviously, Jamir Gibbs, broke through and he kind of sealed the deal for them. And 219 yards, rushing yards, and 45 receiving yards, and 3 total TDs, including a 69-yard OT touchdown run. I mean, that's pretty much sealed the deal for them. But it was a must-win game for Lions. I mean, even right now they look vulnerable. I mean, Giants are not any top tier team right now in the NFL. And they somehow made the Lions sweat. So you can imagine, it's no joke. So Lions have some work to do on their side because NFC North again, it's very tight. NFC is very tight, and they have to keep pace with Bears and Packers in their division. So great game. I'm happy for Jameis Winston. His legacy builds on. He keeps on making this really fun interviews to watch, especially if you're in the Jersey area. You get to watch because of the New York media. Unbelievable. And a good game. Jake Bates, obviously clutch 59-yard field goal. That guy's really good. I mean, if you want to see his background, you should check him out. I mean, he was just doing a secular job and he got calls into playing for the Lions, and he's cementing his place as one of the permanent kickers for them because his place kickers, you never know, it's like a revolving door. People just switch them. There's no skill involved. I mean, I'm not trying to demean the kickers, But absolutely, like, there's no skill involved when you think about, kicking the ball, right? As long as you and the placeholder are, in sync, that's all you need. But this guy's doing pretty good. Jameis Winston, 19 out of 30, some 300 plus yards, 2 touchdown passes, and a receiving touchdown. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Vandal Robinson, 9 yards, 156 yards for 1 touchdown. I mean, stats are important, but we want to give our own new perspective here. Like, for me, the two takeaways out of this game was Jameis Winston's legacy as a fun player, with some athletic ability. And I'm looking for Jameis. If you're watching our podcast, we love you, man. I mean, you have the best reels, and maybe you should come and join our podcast for an episode or something.
Maybe he's gonna be the next Steelers.
Yeah, against you, but yeah,
I
guess we can.
I would want it. I would want Jameis Winston's next year as quarterback.
Just for fun, right?
No,
You think he's going to add value though? As a athletic?
This quarterback room, I think any quarterback is.
Yeah.
Especially Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And Jake Bates' kick was actually interesting because it was like right in front of the field goal post, and it was about to miss, right? And then somehow, just like barely, like.
Oh really? I didn't see that.
It was like,
oh wow.
Imagine if this is the post. It went like this.
Wow. Oh really?
Yeah. It was really.
Maybe there's a wind machine there or something.
And people are really sketchy about it because it was in a dome stadium, so there's no like weather.
It's in Detroit, right?
There's like no weather, but it was really sketchy.
But I mean, it's a long field, 59 yards.
The Lions have a lot of work to do to let the Giants, especially one without their starting running back, starting receiver, or starting quarterback, and have them walk all over you like that for like the first 4 quarters, pretty much is not good. Not doesn't reflect well on your team, and I think Dan Campbell is not being able to find a balance between when to be aggressive and when to be conservative, and he's being aggressive in all the wrong spots, and it's really showing. And Jared Goff has a lot to improve on. He's just not making good plays.
That's it.
Not just being a game manager, and he has so much to improve on, especially if they want to be in the same form as last year.
Yeah,
they have a lot to.
And they have weapons, though. I mean, they have Amari St. Jones, right? Brown and Jameer Gibbs. I mean, they have some really good weapons, and I know like the tight end is injured for the year, right?
Yeah.
But still, they have good weapons, and I think they should make the most of what they have, and they have like a solid kicker as well. So,
something else interesting is the Lions' former starting center last year actually came out of retirement, Frank Ragnow. So
really good.
Maybe he can add some more protection for Jared.
For Lions?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So he is a good center. I was surprised when he retired last year, and I'm happy that he's back. Hopefully he doesn't get injured anymore as often as he did before. And good luck to him in his career. But he's definitely a big improvement for the Lions. He's one of the best centers to ever do.
Yeah, he's really good. So what are you covering for us today?
Yeah, so the Colts Chiefs, it was a really interesting game. The Colts were winning by 11 points with like halfway through the 4th quarter, and the Chiefs somehow managed an amazing comeback to win the game. And it was really impressive from the Chiefs watching Patrick Mahomes in overtime, leading that drive for 9 minutes. It was very impressive, especially in overtime, and it really affects well on the Chiefs. And they're very desperate right now. They're like on the edge of like missing out on the playoffs, and they're really doing whatever they can to scrape out wins now. And it's really showing. But with Patrick Mahomes, anything is possible, and he is really coming through for them. His team isn't playing, amazing football, but they're getting the job done. They're running the ball efficiently. They're throwing the ball, passing it around good. Rashee Rice obviously coming back from that suspension or injury was really helpful to the Chiefs being able to get that win. He had 141 yards, which is very impressive and good for him. And the Chiefs, they don't have like the most like amazing team right now, but the fact that they're able to come out with wins against top tier teams like the Colts is really good for them. And speaking of the Colts, their defense, they let up way too many yards, over almost 500 yards of offense, and they let them convert most 3rd downs and 4th downs in the 4th quarter, and it was just really embarrassing for the Colts, especially considering they gave 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, and it's just not playing the way that they wanted to play. But I wouldn't say they're falling off, but they definitely are not playing organized football. Daniel Jones is kind of coming down from that Indiana Jones character, more of a game manager now, and I feel like he needs to bring back that fire that passion that he played with football in the beginning of the season, which is really great and really fun football. And now it's just like, oh man, come on, how do you guys lose these games?
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor's, sometimes it seems like the whole offense revolves around him because most games where he doesn't perform well, it just seems like everything else is the whole offense just starts sputtering because through him the passing game is unlocked as well. And the Chiefs were able to stop that. Good for Steve Spagnuolo being able to stop the run there was something he's definitely known for, and it was a good job for him.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen this movie before, right? I mean, Chiefs coming into playoff mode towards the tail end of the season when it really matters, right? This stretch really matters to getting into the playoffs and catch fire and just run through it. That's what these championship caliber teams do. I mean, it's almost like they're hiding some secret formula to like all of a sudden wake up and then just run. I mean, we don't know. It's too early, but we have seen Patrick Mahomes do this time and again when it really matters. He steps in and like just takes takes the game over, takes the team over, shows his leadership, and somehow just never settles for a loss. He just doesn't go away. And if you really want to win over the Chiefs, you have to take him away, and it's not easy. And that's what Colts found out in a very hard 9-minute drive. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. I mean, you can just imagine like how much grit he has and how much resolve he has to go ahead and win the game for his team and put his team right back into playoff contention, especially with the AFC West, just a really hard division at this point.
Yeah, and the fact that she are having that terrible, terrible start to the season now, coming out playing like this is really incredible, and it's really fun to watch them.
Right, and there's going to be Chiefs playing with Cowboys, right, for Thanksgiving?
I think so, yeah.
That's going to be a great game.
It's going to be really entertaining. Two teams, that are like on the trying to.
Yeah, they're
really good football.
I mean, both the teams are at the verge of the playoffs, not making the playoffs, or maybe even like if you want to say, even you want to consider saying that they're end of the season, and both have like really good games, really good wins coming into the Thanksgiving game. So it's going to be really good because they want to like build on what they did last week. So I definitely want to, looking forward to that game tomorrow.
Yeah. So next I want to go over Texans versus Bills. It was a really surprising game, especially Texans. They don't even have their starting quarterback, and to beat an amazing team like the Bills is just incredible. And a really important thing to know is that Josh Allen, he is getting some of the most sacks in the entire league, despite having one of the best offensive lines. And what does that mean? It means that Josh Allen's taking too long to throw the ball. He's scrambling when he's not supposed to be. And, he's just running into people. And his pocket awareness isn't as good as it was last year. Last year, I think his pressure rate, his sacks is only 4%. This year it's up to, I think it's around 15%. It's really incredible and not in a good way. And Josh Allen, he really needs to step up, being able to be more aware in the pocket and his situation, what's going on around him, and him being pressured that much is also leading him to make really bad decisions. Like that game-ending interception against the Texans was just horrible. It was a great catch by a Texans player, but it was also a really bad throw by Josh Allen, and especially considering that was the last drive they got, and that was a play to end the game pretty much. It was not good football by Josh Allen. And Texans defense really stepped up, and they're obviously definitely like by far the best defense in the league, and it's really showing with how amazing they're playing and really effective, putting the stop to all these teams, and they're really putting the defense and saying defense wins championships because they really are winning all these games for the Texans in the last couple of weeks that they've won, and it's really good for them. And even the fact that they have Davis Mills starting at their quarterback and having him play a decent game is crazy, and it shows how important this Texans defense is to the team. And the Bills beat the Texans in pretty much every single statistical category, but they still lost because they weren't able to convert those red zone. I think they went over 2 in red zone attempts, and it was just the Texans went 2 for 4. And so their defense is just not playing the way they should be, and there's just so many things they should be improving. And the Bills really need to get it together. Thankfully, they have an easy opponent next week in the Steelers, but after that, they might not even make the playoffs right now. They're like on the verge of not making the playoffs. So the Chiefs might take their spot, or maybe even the Steelers. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised with the game. I did. I mean, The story of Texans and Bills, it goes long back, right? I mean, somehow Texans always have Bills' number. When Deshaun Watson was playing for, Texans as well, like they beat Bills in a playoff game, I believe. So it's a very you can't just take away Texans away when they're playing each other. And to Virat's point, Josh Allen had a really bad game. He got sacked 8 times. 8 times. Come on, man. 2 interceptions, obviously ill-advised. And I think one interception was like on purpose. I mean, not on purpose, but didn't really matter because we were going to punt anyway. But at the same time, it was really bad show on him. Texas defense, I think there was one word that they were describing to kind of show what Texans defense is like. The swarming. I mean, they were just swarming all over the place. You can see like the entire group was just moving around, confusing Josh Allen, and he was like, they were like not letting anybody slide by them. They were on the top of their game. Not D'Amico Ryan's, D'Amico Ryan's, right? The coach of Texas. I mean, he brought his team prepared for this. And playing with, I mean, no offense to David Mills, but like Davis Mills, but like, having a backup quarterback come against a team like Josh Allen, who really needed that momentum to keep pace with Patriots and to actually beat them, that took some grit again on the Texans side. Texans defense, 8 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. And Bills gave it away again, they gave it 3 times, and Texas had 0 turnovers. I think Davis Mills played a really efficient game. He's not a superstar. Obviously, he's a backup for a reason. But he played really well, in this game, and he made sure like they won the game. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, how these two teams go about. I mean, Colts losing, is it the fall off for Colts and Texans fall to rise up, or how do Bills keep up with the Patriots, or for that matter, in a very wide, very contested teams within the wild card race for in the AFC conference. So it's going to be very interesting. The games coming up for Bills as well. Do you have anything else to add, Raj? Yeah.
Nope.
All right. So, what games are you looking forward to? I mean, week 13
In
is
my
upon.
opinion,
Actually, before we go there, any other, maybe like a tidbits through the games, other games from week 12?
yeah, the Steelers game was really disappointing. There's so many points where they should have won, and it's gonna be interesting. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming back this week, so
Yeah, Tommy.
so
Changed,
and
but
Mason
whatever.
Rudolph didn't even play like terrible, but in like moments where it matters, it shows that you really need you can't have him starting, especially at this point in the season when they're really trying to make the playoffs. And you know, most other games, they're really interesting, and it was interesting to watch a lot of these games, like the Jaguars game against the Cardinals.
Oh
I
yeah,
wasn't expecting the Cardinals to put up that much of a fight against the Jaguars, but
I don't get them.
it's they were they won. They came out the win, so it's good for them. And yeah.
So, from a Steelers perspective, Matt Williamson, who's a Steelers radio guy and really very smart guy when it comes to football knowledge, on his podcast, he said something on the NFL Six Pack podcast. He said something. He said the point where Steelers are getting beat both on offense and defense is the middle of the field. They can't run, no, not run, but like they can actually throw in the middle of the field and make these chunk plays, or they can stop in the middle of the field on the defense side of things. So that was very interesting.
There's there's this one point where Caleb Williams threw the ball right into Kyle Duggar's hand, and he dropped it. In the very next play, they converted on a 3rd down. So, and then they ended up getting the field goal. That ended up if he had intercepted that, we probably would have won the game because we would have had a good field position to at least score 3 points, and we would have won 31-28. And I also heard, obviously I didn't watch the game; it was not showing in our area. But also heard like the 4th down, going for it instead of like kicking it. That was also a bad move. There is toward the very last play of the game. I don't know. They had very bad time management. They ran out of timeouts. There was no seconds left in the game. They were 4th and 6, and it was 3rd and 6. Mason Rudolph threw a really interesting throw to DK Metcalf, to gain 2 yards, and it was 4th and 6. And there's only 22 seconds, and they had no timeouts, and so I don't think they could get the field goal unit out in time. But it was really disappointing. Yeah, I mean, I knew Rudolph when he came in as a gunslinger. But he's not throwing down the field, and even a couple of throws he doing. I think the new offensive system with Arthur Smith is kind of hindering his deep ball. I think in general, usually like DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph is like known for like these like big deep play passes, but there's just like none of those has been connecting so far.
Yeah.
Like most of those like haven't been connecting, and those are things that like those players need to like really sustain themselves.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not able to get that, I think it's more Arthur Smith as the OC.
Yeah, one last point I'll make is like, in ESPN.com, they have this playoff machine. And I was like looking at the schedule for both Ravens and Steelers because, they're obviously they're one of those who are going to, win the AFC North. And I circled this game as a must win for Steelers.
Mhm.
Must win. Because the rest of Ravens, we don't know. Usually we split with them, but if they are desperate, they can go 2-0. And the other games are also no gimmies either for Steelers. We still have Bills to play. We still have Lions to play. So this was the game we were supposed to win to keep pace with Ravens. And even if you would have like won this game, lost to Lions, and split with Ravens, we could have won the division. But I don't know at this point. But Steelers, they win the games that you don't think they'll win, and they lose the games that they will lose. Any other games that you want to touch base?
Yeah.
I'll touch base for one more or maybe a couple more. I also saw the 49ers game. Oh my gosh. 49ers were trying to wrap the game and give it to the Panthers.
It's like both teams are trying to give the game to each other.
Oh my gosh. It
Yeah.
was so bad. It's like, bro, I turned it off. I turned it off and watched towards the end just to see, who's going to win. But, it was not a great game. It was not a great game for the offense of 49ers. Their quarterback played really, really bad. Brock Purdy. He threw like 3 interceptions, really bad interceptions, to be honest with you. The ball placement was really bad. They won, but it was a very bad game on both sides. And 49ers should put these games away if they really want to keep pace with the other teams in NFC conference. So that was one of the other games I've seen. And I also heard like Ravens, even though they won, it was not ready. And some people are even saying that Lamar Jackson might be actually injured and is actually playing with some kind of ailment and is just like pushing it through.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
Yeah, the Ravens, they barely came out with the wins in the last 2
Yeah.
weeks. And the Browns is like
the record is the record though, right?
way closer than it should have been. The Jets too until like the last quarter was like tied pretty much. I think it was like 13-10 or something.
Yeah, exactly. The score says 23-10 something, the final score, but it was much, much closer than what the score said.
Yeah.
One other game is Shadow Sanders, man. Shadow Sanders, what is Showtime? That's what they're calling him. Instead of prime time, they call him Showtime. Looks like he played well. Good for Browns. And it's been a while, like 30 years or something, that a rookie quarterback actually won his first game or first start for the Browns. So we'll see how it goes. But Browns are Browns. They'll somehow figure out a way to kind of screw this up.
And I think Shadur Sanders talking like a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's shocking too much.
Like a big game, especially.
Yeah. The interview was humble. I give you that. Like on the day of the game, it was like, oh, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, kind of a deal. But now he's like talking. So we'll see about it. Let's do a Thanksgiving week. Viraj, we are here tomorrow. There are like multiple games going into the weekend. So any games that you're looking for?
Yeah, the Bengals versus Ravens is going to be a really interesting game. Joe
Burrow's back, right?
Yeah, Joe Burrow's coming back.
Go Burrow!
Way sooner than we expected. We all thought he's going to only be back by January, but he's back so early. And the Bengals playoff hopes, they're like less than 1%, but there's still a chance. And I think Burrow is exactly what they need to bring them back. If they even want to have a chance to contend for the playoffs. If I were them, I'll get a high draft pick, draft an O-lineman or some defensive player or something. Knowing the Bengals are probably going to try to win as many games as possible. So,
yeah.
And that's what Burrow said. He said if he's going to play, he's going to play to win. And he said he's definitely going to play. So
yeah, he's like a superstar. Unfortunately, like he's injury prone, injury ridden in the last few seasons. But seriously, he's a superstar.
In my opinion, he is probably like, even though he's already shown so much, he definitely still has the highest potential in the league.
Yeah, he has. I do feel like the organization and the coach are holding him back.
I don't like
Paul Brown.
No,
or the
Paul Brown.
The owner. Yeah, Bengals.
Paul Brown.
Yeah. It's the Browns, right? Yeah. Zach
Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor. I never liked him. He's just not. He's not.
He's not good.
Yeah.
He's not good.
He holds back too much.
Having Jamar Chase, T. Higgins,
Joe Burrow,
and having this record and you can't even protect your quarterback every year.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on,
been
man. What are
happening
you
since
doing,
it's been
Zach
happening
Taylor?
since their Super Bowl appearance.
Seriously, come on, protect
Really?
him. Protect him. He's your national treasure.
Yeah.
You go as far as Joe Burrow goes, and that's the reality. I mean, you can bring Flacco and those guys for one game off and all that. They can, you know, have like a sustained seasons for you that Joe Burrow can give.
Mhm.
But I'm rooting for Burrow tomorrow. I want him to beat the Ravens.
Yeah,
I really
Lamar
do.
Jackson is like our killing on there.
The only thing is like Bengals defense sucks. That's the only thing that I'm concerned. But I'm hoping like Jamar Chase. I mean, he has a pride. He's
And
a superstar.
Speaking of the Bengals defense, I've been surprised about how much sacks the Ravens defense has been giving up on
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
I mean,
Really surprising about how much sacks Lamar Jackson is taking.
the thing is like he tries to extend the play, right? And that's how they have his
Like,
big
usually
plays.
he's able to do it too, but this year,
They're containing him. They're figuring him out. And so I'm rooting for Burrow. Go Burrow tomorrow. Go Jamar Chase. Go T. Higgins. Go defense. Beat the Ravens and bring Steelers close to the Ravens. And any other games you're looking forward to? One of the sneaky good games that I'm really looking forward to is the 49ers and the Browns. 49ers, it's like a must win for them. I mean, they can't let the pedal off the gas at this point. I mean, they have to win this game. But Browns defense is legit. I mean, they're really good. So that's a sneaky good game that I'm looking forward to as well. And obviously, like the Chiefs and Cowboys that we already spoke about as well. So, whereas, do you have any Thanksgiving tradition? I mean, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Do you have any favorite Thanksgiving tradition?
Like I just sit and eat with the family.
And then watch games?
Yep.
Yeah, same. His
the
mom,
same
my wife is
family.
cooking up a storm tomorrow. So we're gonna eat a lot and watch a lot of games.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna do. And I hope you guys do the same as well. Happy Thanksgiving to all our viewers, all our supporters, all our subscribers. Hope you guys, enjoy and have a lot of things to be thankful for. You can always find things to be thankful for. And I hope you find you don't have to search deep and you'll find, that's the act of gratitude, right? And I hope you have a great time with your family and watch a lot of football. And thanks for subscribing to us. Please share with your friends. We definitely need more subscribers and we're going to keep at it. We're going to put more content. He's high school, I have a busy job. So we're trying to cram as many, as much as possible. Like yesterday I had an AP Chem exam. So we had to delay this for a couple of days. I didn't want, you got to put your priorities right. But at the same time, we're trying to put as much as content as possible. So support us, share and subscribe. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.